Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for making it.
I know, you're welcome.
This has been a long time coming.
It has, I know. Try to get a hold of you, you're a busy man.
I do try my best, Right, let's see, because you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk about, because you do the dancing, which you used to do, and you still do.
Not as much, yeah. I'll help out because we met at
a music video.
Yeah, we met at
Viv Latifah's.
Yeah,
I don't think it's out yet, so no spoilers. But
no, that's it. So we met briefly at that. That was one of my first times dancing for a very long time. But I'm still like a dip in and out. But it's not.
I mean, you did very well, because
I
remember there were some proper shapes there.
Pulled a bum muscle that day, I think. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Little secret behind the scenes information.
Yeah. But
and then you got your own clothing line.
Yes.
Which is I tried to do a bit of research before I kind of started the thing, and I was like trying to find your line. So I saw the website.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing. You do poetry.
Yeah. So I went and about 4 years ago I managed to figure out like a wee bit of print on demand. I started a clothing line about 4 years ago through just research, no experience whatsoever, and it was called Funked Up Youths, and it was for like young people, mental health based. And I kind of felt like it was only reaching one like targeted audience, and that was just youths, obviously with the name of it, and my designs were very cartoon based. So as time went on, I shut it down and I opened up another line. I really rushed into it, and then I was thinking maybe I should just stick to 2 logos, like, because Nike's get a logo, Ralph Lauren's get a logo. Like I was like, maybe people aren't into all big designs anymore. I'll just try and fit in. And I called it Tailored for Success, and I was like, I made these 2 logos and I liked it. I had a 4 and one of them was like a tiger, and I was like, well, I designed shirts and then I put them on hoodies, and I never pre-planned it. I never like I just went right in with 2 feet and wanted to fit in the norm sort of thing. And then I went on a spiritual awakening through a breakup from a relationship, and I started to get into meditation. And I came out of meditation. I'd been doing it for quite some time. So I went on a spiritual awakening. I was meditating. I'd done a couple of things, like events with like shamans.
Oh, wow,
and, it was really good. I was never like, I've always been open-minded, but I was never into it because I always thought my mind's 100 miles an hour. There's no way I could meditate like and shut it off, because I know you need to completely shut your mind. And so I went, and the first time I was like, the guy next to me was breathing dead loud, and that's all I could think about. And I was like, he better shut the fuck up. Like, and then the next thing I could hear somebody. I'm trying
to find my Zen over here. Can you fucking?
And I'm like, he's breathing so loud, and why is he breathing like that? And that's what was running through my head. And then the next thing, another song would come on, and I'm like, I quite like that song. Like, I just couldn't. And then I was like, I never felt anything from that. And then my friend's like, just keep trying. Like, you might not get it right away. Came back the second time, and I'm like with my wee mat and stuff and getting into the zone again, and I was just like, I could just hear everybody breathing. That's all I could hear. And then it was my third time I went, and something just happened where I totally shut off, and I've never experienced like that in my whole entire life. Like, I was totally in the present moment, but then I could see like colours. And I was just like, it was as if I was present with myself, but and everything else was blocked out. And it was mental. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And I was like, oh my God, that just shows you, when you're in control of your mind, like, and you can actually zone out from the busy life and everything that we've got going on, like, and I started to feel really good. And I was like, I felt so euphoric. I was like, this is incredible. Like, no drug that I've ever took in my whole entire life made me feel the way I did after that class. And I was like, that was so powerful. So I kept going back. It was like I was so addicted to it, and then I learned how to do it on my own. But from there I phoned my friend up, and I was like, I'm going to shut my clothing line down. Like, the way I don't resonate with it anymore. Like, I'm getting all of these creative ideas, and she's like, where's it coming from? Like, make sure you're writing it all down. I'm like, I know. And then I was meditating in my house, and I was going, and these messages were coming through, and I was writing, and then I was producing like all of these designs, and I was like, that's it, I'm shutting it down. And then I started studying like Greek mythology and looking into like what, because she's like, what are you going to call your new clothing line? I was like, I don't know what I'm going to call it. And I was studying all this stuff, and my mind was just so awake. Like, I felt like as if I'd reached my higher self, like just the place that I was in.
Like, just being yourself.
Yeah, and it
like you have that feeling when you're like, is the voice that you get in your head is clearer.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like you're following your inner guidance, basically, like your purpose. Like for once in my whole life, I think I was really true to myself. Like, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't know what I'm going to call it, so I was getting all this stuff, and I was researching, and then I stumbled across like the word. I thought it was Malachi, and that's how I pronounce my clothing line, but it's actually Malachi in the Bible. So then I'm like, oh, I love that word. It sounds like dead Italian, like mafia, like Malachi. And I was like, I love that. So then I'm talking to my brother who's a Christian, and he's like, Jenna, it's not that, it's Malachi. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to call it Malachi, and I'll take the meaning because it means messenger of God, and I want to send messages out through clothing. So it was all tying in, like it was all folding into place. It did take a good few weeks, but it was all like coming. I was just meditating, and then I was like, I'm going to call it Malachi. But then I was like phoning my brother up, and I was like, can you give me the background on him? Like, is he a prophet? Like, what, or is he like, I hope he's not like a Jimmy Savile or something like that. And I'm a bit of
I think you'll find not a lot of those in the Bible.
No, you're right.
Not a lot of those in the Bible.
And I was
outside the Bible, my God, but in the Bible, I think we're pretty safe.
You were very safe.
It's been years since I've read it top to bottom, because I have read it when I was 10.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
We talked about this Jehovah's Witness upbringing. I was very serious about my Bible.
Wow.
Other than, I don't know, I kind of, I don't remember any specific character that was like, ooh. I mean,
everything's
there's plenty other things that happen in the Bible that today you kind of go, let's not do that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think there's some bits in the Bible that are so powerful.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like, that you can take with you in your life, like your choices, like stuff like that. It's very interesting. I've never read the Bible, like, ever. I always take, like, wee bits from it. I like certain wee bits of scripture that I might see, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I did make a design, and it's got like Jesus. It's like half a face and a half a face kind of thing, like joining, but up close it's like loads of colours, but when you stand back it's like a painting of Jesus. And I made that more for my brother actually, and like, but I'm not a Christian based clothing line, and I didn't want it to be just like based into like one category. So I like Malachi, like, but I was like, I'm going to pronounce it differently, but I'll take the meaning because I'm
just laughing because I just imagine some prophet going, I'll give you a message you can't refuse, huh? The name's Malachi, huh?
I know, Malachi. My brother was laughing. He was like, what? He was like, I love it. It sounds like an Italian mobster or something. So then the word creed, I love that. I looked that up, and that means to have faith and believe. And so I was like, Malachi Creed Wear, and I phoned my pal, and I was like, I'm going to call it. And she was like, that's amazing. Like, that is
I still call it, I'm not going to lie, I called it Malachi or Malachi.
Yeah, well, that is, I've still kept the same spelling.
I didn't realise,
Yeah, but I've changed it to the to Malachi, and I just liked it. It was my initial pronunciation of it when I seen it, and I thought, I'm keeping it that. So I've just changed it up, but it's been amazing, and I can express myself. Like, so if there's like stuff going on in the world, I'll create a design out of that and put it on a piece of clothing, and then my friend actually asked me this question, which I loved. She went, how do you want people to feel when they wear your clothes? And I was like, good question. I was like, I actually want people to feel empowered, or like if you've got something on that you're sending a message out, like just feel good, like good energy, you know. Like,
that's an interesting one, because like I get how do you want people to feel, but I kind of look at it as like, I can't there's always going to be something in between. Like, whatever I create, it's subject to the person's interpretation.
Yeah.
So I can't really make them feel something. I can say my piece as clearly as I possibly can, as possibly know. But then how they interpret it, that's up to them.
100%.
Especially with social media, man. Like, you see it. I've had jokes that went like viral or fairly viral, and then you'll see all sorts of comments, and you have people that just completely miss the fucking point, and they miss it with such confidence. like they know what they're talking about. You're like, no. Yeah. No, you've made this all up, but like, you know.
No, you're right. People can, when you're putting yourself out there, it can be. You get people that will pick a negative out of something, or that's it. I'm like, do you know what? Hate mail's better than no mail, so fire it away.
I mean, like you learn that as well. But it's interesting, like this idea of like, how do you want people to feel? Because I work in showbiz. You work in obviously in clothing, and it's like you're trying to communicate something, but then. And ideally it lands the way you wanted it to, but you also don't control it. So I'm kind of like, when it lands the way I want it to, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you have good taste.
So when you're doing your comedy, like, when you're going up, do you plan what you're doing, or do you I mean, to an I've noticed that in the past couple of pods I've said to an extent a bunch of times, but like, you plan certain things. You don't know your audience, you know, so it's
like you listen and things like that, and then you if you pick up something something that stands out, you're like, I'm gonna adapt to that if I want to. If I'm not bothered, I'm not bothered. Fuck you.
No, exactly. Like, you're here for the show, innit? So you don't like it, there's the door.
But most of the time, like, no, because you wanna like ideally you want at least enough of the audience to be like, I would like to come and see this person again.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want to be like, no, well, we have nothing in common. So you try to like build a bridge of like, do we have something we can talk about that I love talking about? 100%. Hopefully you'll enjoy as well.
Relatable content, isn't it? It's like...
But I can't be relatable to everyone.
Not to everybody, no, you're right. That's it. There'll be people that will get you, and there'll be people that just don't get you.
Yeah, and I think,
fine.
Especially nowadays with social media, like the social media culture right now is very... This is it, and if you're not with us, you're against us.
100%.
Because you see a lot of that. Like, you just see that said, like, if you're not paying attention, whatever, if you're not this, we're not going to forgive, we're not going to do this. Like, I've seen posts like that. So I was like, well, you're clearly signaling that
you're right.
You just want full-on
I think social media as well is like, people feel the need to always comment and have an opinion on absolutely everything. You're like, see, if I see something that I might not agree with, I don't feel the need to go and post something horrible on somebody's post. I'm just like, you get a lot, like, in our generation, it's just keyboard gangsters. I'm just like, nah.
I mean, I'm still like trying to figure out, you know, what's the right thing. Like, at the moment, this is what I believe to be the right thing, is like, you pick your fights, but I also don't want to be a hypocrite, because 100%. like I'm not someone who necessarily believes in like social media activism.
No.
I kind of look at it as like, okay, you clicked a couple of things, you wrote a couple of words, and then you moved on, sure. But then also, I'm someone who's trying to promote their presence as an entertainer on social media. So it's like, okay, well, there's something in there. I have to admit there is a power to social media to mass communicate.
There is, definitely. Like, you can reach an audience like that might not be able to make your show. They might be from other places, and then if you end up taking off and you like say in your social media, I'm going to be in such and such a place, and then the people could be like, oh, he's coming in, you know, like, it's good for that. I love social media. Like, I just use it for business. Like, in my personal page, I love fashion. People might think I'm a bit full of myself or whatever. I've been told that when I've met people, and they're like, you're so lovely when I meet them. And I'm like, what did you think I was going to be like? And they're like, I don't know. Like, I think because I always have like fashion photos up, so I kind of might come across like a poser, or I don't know. It's weird how people can like look at your social media and then get a right quick judgment of you without even meeting you, and like. And
again, it's like, what did you post? What did they? How did they interpret it?
100%.
It's two different things.
100%.
And what did you intend? How did it come across? Like, sometimes we intend one thing and we fuck it up in the expression of it, and sometimes we get it right, but they still get it wrong. So when
I was designing clothes, I was thinking, I just want people to feel like my clothes are very wacky as well. Like they're very loud. Some of my designs are very loud and out there, and I like to be out and somebody look like just catch like somebody's eye with it, because if you're walking about and you've just got a logo, it's not like. But if your designs are quite loud, like I do get it.
I love a loud design. Like,
yeah, this is actually a design, and it was one of my first ones, and it was like, it's like people watching you. So we were talking about social media, and this design was like watching, like make it worth their while. Because at one point, I still feel it now. It's like I have so many people watching, but not a lot of people supporting. But I do have supporters, and I have people, and I'm really grateful for that. But I have more people watching and less kind of support. I mean, like in a sense, like,
I get where you're coming from.
Do you know what I mean? And it's fine. It's because the right people support you. It doesn't bother me. But it's like it's incredible the amount of views and stuff like that you can get on like videos and stuff, but then you'll look and not a lot of people might like it or interact with it, or they'll like it privately, and I'm like, oh, social media is just a bit of a mindfuck for me sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is something I'm studying at the moment, because obviously I'm the showbiz game, and it's very much along those lines of like there's gonna be a lot less people that, you know. I think we talked about like a trust and an investment thing of like, it's one thing for me to watch a clip. It's a bigger investment for me to pay money or spend even more time on it or something like that. So it's a very low investment to be like, scroll, saw it, cool, give it a like, moving on.
Yeah.
And it's still, but here's the thing, it's still appreciated, and it's still in your head, and you're 100%. Still thinking about it. Yeah. So I'm not going to be like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I'm grateful for it, but at some point you also like want to get to the next level where like people are showing up to the gigs or people are buying the clothes.
Yeah, and social media, like I've noticed now, social status goes a long way. Like if people have got a huge big following, they'll jump on that and be like, oh, like you know, I think it is an important thing when you're.
It's a trust thing of like, definitely. How many people are willing to be the first in the queue?
Yeah, yeah, no, I know.
You know,
I know.
I think it's quite. That's why, like, I'm fascinated by this whole thing of like.
So am I. I'm a bit like, I don't have a huge follow. I've never been arsed about it, to be fair. But then when I had my own clothing line, like, and things have been going well, and I'm doing good. But it's like, if I had a bigger following, like, how it would probably like it would go out there quicker and stuff. But I just know your journey's your journey. Like, there's no shortcuts in this game. Like, I feel like when you, as you say, like, you're devoted to comedy, like, you're not going to get things just landing like that. You need to go out. You need to work hard. You need to get agents. You need to show up to events. You need to network with people.
But you can do all those things, and you can still learn about how to get more efficient of like like I've learned of like, if I do a video, then the title, I will try to make it the most out there title that's still related to the content, but what's the most out there angle I can take on this video, because that will get some attention. It's more likely to get some attention, but
and you want to like work smarter, not harder as well, with like
you kind of want to do both
as well. You
want to do both.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's been it's interesting. I mean,
I like your stuff. It's good when I see it on my feed. I'm like, oh, it's good. It's good to see that, because I was saying to Alan when I came in, I was like, you know, I think like me being a dancer and being on a stage, like, that's fine, but he's like, I couldn't dance, I couldn't do that. But I was like, I know, but see, like, dancing and singing, it is great, and you do need like your confidence and whatnot. But I was like, comedy's very different. I feel like it is a good way to express, but I feel like, me personally, because like dancers are rehearsed, singers are rehearsed, sometimes comedy, like, you can rehearse bits, but as you say, you need to figure out your audience. You need to figure out like, oh, did they like that bit, should I allow, and like, you're kind of working on the spot, I would say, in it. Like, it's not rehearsed as such.
Well, you've got your bits, and then you see if potentially,
and then you wing it, basically, innit?
Well, you do your bit, and then sometimes you go, okay, this bit is not working, so do you have another bit?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can improvise. There's little things you can talk to the crowd and da. But at the end of the day, it's like, you got your jokes or the things that you find funny. Yeah. Hopefully, there's something that you find funny that they will also find funny, and you find that common ground.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you don't.
Have you ever been on stage and cracked a joke and like everybody's just like staring?
One joke. I've done 10 minutes. What are you talking about? I've done a 10-minute set.
10-minute set.
To complete fucking silence.
Shut up. Not one person interacted, no?
No, there was some smiles when it was dead, but but it's still one of my favourite memories because I come off stage, I'm like, cool, I did my set, I had fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the main thing. Yeah.
And it was like free night, so like, you know, you took a chance, didn't work out. It is what it is.
That would be my worst fear, I think.
But, and also it was like early days, I had 20 minutes of materials. It was either this 10 minutes or the other 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I could pick and choose from like something else. This is what we're talking about. And it was just quite funny because I came off stage and at the end of the gig, this couple came up to me and the guy was like, it was funny, but it was just too political, you know, son. It was about, right at the time, it was about the Ukraine situation and being Eastern European since the Ukraine war in the UK. Because a lot of that. So it was funny, but it was just too political, son. And then his partner just went, I like that. Yeah, he was right. He had a point. And I was like, okay,
Right,
I'll take that. I fucking used to having an argument because of me now. So,
I've done something. At least you get some reaction from it.
Yeah. So like, I was happy with that. But then, you know, you still learn. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's about timing. You know,
yeah, 100%.
Maybe another day that would have been quite happy.
I think the world's very sensitive now for comedy as well, in sense like you need to watch what you're saying now with absolutely everything. Like, it's very sensitive world. It's like you've got a lot of like activists for everything, and you can't say this. Like, even if you say that word as a joke, people are like, you can't say that anymore. No, it's getting to the point. It's like a lot of.
I mean, that's quite interesting for me because I'm not from the UK.
No,
so I don't have an attachment to any specific lingo necessarily as much. I mean, I've got certain attachments because I grew up watching my favorite comedians, so maybe I like their style and stuff. But I'm not like, oh, I want to use this word or that word. Yeah. But I'm also someone coming from, you know, Eastern Europe. I'm like, don't ban words. I'm a bit of a free speech guy because of my experience.
You grew up in Romania as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's so different.
Yeah, but I mean, the people that hate you now are a bit more vocal and they can organize more because there's social media, but it would also help if the corporations had some bit more fucking backbone and just say, if they like something, say we like it, and if you don't like it, say you don't like it.
And that's it. I know.
That's my only...
Black's black, white's white, and you don't have the grey area.
I mean, there's a lot of grey in our life anyway, but just stand up for what you believe in if you're a corporation. But then again, corporations just want to make money, so.
100%, I know.
So like, I'm not one of those guys that there's no such thing as cancel culture, but it's also... It's only so powerful as you let it to be. If you say, I'm gonna do my shit, you deal with it, then you do you.
No, you're right. And I know a lot of people will say, like, because I've been into meditation and crystals and all that, people are like, oh, you're into all that woo-woo stuff, and you're like, actually, you might, like, you need to try it. Like, you would need to try it yourself. Like, I think it's very hard to judge something that you've never tried, you know. Like, I was like, just going, it's just breathing. Like, who would have thought breathing, concentrating on your breath would help activate all, like, your crystals in your mind? Like, it helps your creativity, it helps with everything, health issues. There's so many benefits to meditation.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm not one of the crystal guys. I'll put my hand up.
I was going to bring you one as well.
I mean, to me it'll be pretty.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'll put my hand up.
Heavy pendant.
Alright. But I can also see like relevance of that. I'm agreeing a lot with like the meditation and just sometimes stopping and not running, feeling your feelings.
100%, feel it to heal it. Like, all of this, I noticed, see, when I look back, being a dance teacher, I was so busy to the point that I would never even get to stop. See, if I had problems or encountered any like bad things in my life, I never had time to think about that. I was just so busy. I never had time to deal with that. Like, so then when I was meditating, there was a point in my journey that I phoned my pal up and I was like, for the first time in my life, I feel dead depressed. And she was like, aye, like, that can be normal. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're probably shedding you know, old parts of yourself, because when you're meditating and you're growing and you're reaching levels, you're actually shedding your old behavioural patterns as well. Like, you start to lose a wee bit of yourself and you're gaining like a newer version of yourself.
And there's a sadness to letting go what you used to be or who you believe you needed
that's it. So I went through, and they call it the dark night of the soul, and I was like, oh God, and I know that's like, I think there's a part of that that's in the Bible as well, but I was like, how long does this last? I remember it was like 2 weeks of feeling really deep sadness that I'd never felt in my whole life. I never allowed myself to feel it ever. So that was a really kind of, looking back then, it wasn't nice to be in it, but when I came out that was the main bit that made me, like, it was like, and I used to say to my pal, you need to just find the beauty in the shite. I was feeling so like crap, but I was looking at all the positive kind of aspects.
I mean, I think
of my journey, I was like, oh.
This chat came up with 2 episodes ago. I was talking to Graham. We talked about mental health, and it's like some of the best learning happens in that pain. Oh, now I'm still like, if I could learn it in a book, by God, I would learn it in a book on any given day.
Yeah, 100%.
But
you can't skip it. It's a process. And then I was watching a podcast someone was on, and it was true what the guy said. He went, without the darkness, you would never try and reach for your higher power or whoever your God is or what you believe to be God. You would never, because if your life was all roses and whatnot, you'd be so caught up in that happy bubble that you would never, like, so it is those moments that you do think, oh my God, like, I need to really reach out here and figure this shit out and pull yourself out it mentally as well, and that can be quite tough. But that's when my clothing line was born, and all my designs all came to life and everything, and I was just like, wow, like, what an incredible journey, and who would have thought that. And now, see, when I feel like, I don't know if you might get that as being a creative, but you get like mind blocks, and like sometimes I can, like, see when you're constantly creating, sometimes I can wake up and not have any ideas, nothing, and just be like, oh my God, like, I'm in a bit of a mind block here. Like,
yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, probably at the moment I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
But I think I've learned to not expect myself to have a fully formed idea.
100%, as it's expectations in it, like,
and then it's like you get stuck of like, nothing's coming. It's like, well, actually, no, start with the very little you have. Start with that 1% and put another 0.5% on it, and then maybe another quarter, and the next thing you know, you got 2%, and then something that leads to something else. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh fuck, something happened.
Yeah. You've got a whole script.
Yeah, or it's like, I think I had to relearn how to do thinking almost, or just how to do anything in life, where it was like, oh, I used to make plans of like, oh, today I'm going to do this and this and this and this, and it just felt like so draining because it was
so robotic, and
it was just
never
like,
goes to plan either.
No, but it was just very much like the pressure of like, did you do this? Well, on to the next one. Did you do that? And in between like, I was always just chasing that high of achieving the thing or finishing the thing, not even achieving it, just wrapping it up. And then it was just like very nerve-wracking and empty, and just you'd lose motivation. You're like, fuck this. Right. And for a while I put off like writing lists, because I was like, I don't like writing lists because it just makes me feel like a robot.
To-do lists,
yeah. But then I learned that, you can look at it as a direction.
Yeah, 100%.
And just leave it open-ended. I'm like, I'm going to try whatever my best is today to travel in that direction.
Oh, 100%.
And if I get there, I will move on to the next thing. Yeah. Or if I think that, okay, now it's the time to leave this, now it's the time to travel, work on something else, I'll go and work on something else.
That's it. You just go wherever your energy is going. You can't force it in it. It's like, I feel like if you expect too much from yourself, I was the same as you, like, everything was planned, and then I was just like, see, now I don't. The only thing I do incorporate every single morning that is a routine to mine is I'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oof. And I'll do, and I don't jump for my phone anymore. Like, that's the first thing I usually do, and I just let myself wake up naturally now. I actually sleep with like my blinds up like that, and I just like, and I know it's dark mornings now, so when I do get up, it's dark, but like I can see the moon and the stars, and I just kind of look at that first. I don't reach for my phone. I just let myself waking up naturally now. Like I used to always jump, and the first thing I'd do would be on my phone and getting back to messages, and I don't do that. I have time to myself, and then I practice gratitude, like and then I'll be grateful for the things that I've got, and I'll be like thank you God for, you know, like waking up another day, and then that automatically puts me in like a positive state of mind. And then obviously I'll get like a morning shower or whatever, and I'll get washed, and I'll do some wee bits of work before I go to my actual work, and I just feel it sets me up for the day. However, I am in my bed for about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, but that's just because I get my 7 hours, but I'm up early, and I just sleep early. And
no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, with comedy, you kind of like the best you can hope for is a midnight.
Yeah. Do you have like routines or anything like that you do? Like as you say, you just go with the flow?
Well, not go with, like I try, like instead of going this needs to be done and then trying to chase that, I'm like, I'm gonna try my best to work on this, and then I'm aware, like if something more important comes along, then I'm gonna have to, you know,
put that aside and go for it,
and then just at the end of the day find out what I got done and appreciate what I got done, you know. Definitely.
I set like a wee, so see when I'm in work, all the guys are like, fucking hate a Monday, like that, and I'm like, so don't get me wrong, I do my morning meditations, but any of them start me in the morning, I'm like, right. I fight with them all, but it's a good laugh. It's quite funny working with loads of men, but they'll say I hate a Monday, and I'm like, I really like a Monday, because on a Monday I'll set like a wee goal just for that week. It could be something so silly, like to me, like even just get yourself out a really nice walk for an hour or something like that with the dog. It can be like silly wee goals that I set, as long as if I just do that one wee goal in that week, and I set it on a Monday, and I just like, and I'm not pressured to do it, like I've got the whole week, but it'll be like something so small, like or even like reach out to an old friend or something like that, you know. But like
to answer your question of what's my morning ritual, unfortunately I'm still in the need to check the phone phase. Because I've noticed that I would wake up, check the messages, get that out of the way, and I don't like it. Now I'm like, okay, I need a stretch. I've got to that point in my life where I'm like, my shoulders are tight. I work in hospitality.
Yoga.
I've been doing hospitality for 10 years. I need a stretch. So I think now the plan is to just wake up, go to the bar, and just hang out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and you've been finding that good though?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think so. I haven't really tried it properly yet.
I think it does mess with your head, like when you do get up and go straight onto your phone. I think it's a really, I was in that routine for such a long time, and see, like, not having that being your priority and getting back to people in your own time, I find that so much more relaxing. I think with social media, everything's like, now that you've got WhatsApp, it's like blue ticks. They've read my message and not get back, but you could be like out somewhere and you've opened the message, and then you're like, right, I'll get back to them when I can. But everything's like this now, isn't it? Like rapid, like you've opened my message, or you've left me in red, or you should, and you're like, I'm going to get back to you, like, calm.
I think that's the one bad thing about social media, is that 100%. Not everyone's got access to you all the time.
Yep.
And I'm still a big believer, like I try not to read a message if I don't intend to reply to it now.
I'm the same.
Because I'm like, okay, I don't want you to. But then, or if I read it, I'm like, I get back to you as soon as.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, there's something about, there's a pressure in my head sometimes.
That's it.
Which I know I put on myself, which I have to remind myself that, hey, I didn't promise anyone I'm going to read the message tonight. So unless I did, in which case I should probably try and do 100%. So. But other than that, get on with my fucking day, and when I can, I get back to you.
No, I know, I've said that to my pals now. I'm like, listen, because I've got a full-time job, and I've got my clothing line, which is also a full-time job, and I'm getting back to people, but I'm like, I will get back to you, like, please don't. And then sometimes I just like time with myself, like I can't be arsed, like I like a night off, like.
And with all due respect, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if it's that important, call me.
100%. That's my favourite word there. I was like 100%, because that's so true. It's like, if it is so important, just drop me a call. Or now I find myself doing like voice notes. I'm quite like them now. And then before I know it, it's like my friend sent me like a 7-minute one, and we're back and forth, and I'm like, this is maybe we should. It's like wee mini podcasts back and forth, like just at work, like how's your day, blah blah, and then before you know it, it's like, and then you listen to it. That's a lot of time as well. However, I do enjoy a voice note, because I feel like messages, people can, it depends what you were saying, how they interpret it, like from there. So,
but it's a lot more information in a voice note than a message.
Yeah.
Because a voice note it's like a message, strictly just the words.
That's it, and it depends what mood the person could be in the receiving end of that, and then they could be like, and then they could answer back, or you could take that the wrong way. Whereas a voice note's very light, and they can tell like if you're happy or sad or angry or like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more information to process.
Yeah, so I'm quite into voice note, and I think it's made me quite lazy to text. So I just don't message now.
Yeah, I know. I'm still. It's quite funny because a lot of jokes about some people just like a text, and I'm like, fair enough, man.
Yeah. No,
it's a mix.
My brother always goes, I hate when I message you and then it comes back, Jena recording, and he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've not got like 10 minutes of my day to listen to you talking shit. I'm like, you cheeky wee shite.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. That's why I'm like, if I'm going to leave you a voice note, I go a point, and I'm going to try my best to stick to that point, whatever my best is. It might go off the rails in 20 seconds, but I'm trying, okay?
Yeah. So what about you in terms of like, if you get a faith or anything like that, like, or if you get like, do you feel like where you are in life at the moment, like you've found your true purpose or like your true meaning or your higher power? Like,
I'm pretty content. I'm just quite happy leaving my mark on the world.
Definitely, that's good.
For me, it's self-expression.
It is. I love expressing. I was actually thinking that when I was driving over. I was thinking people are here, and I think the most depression that's caused in people is like when they don't know their meaning to the world, or they don't know how to express themselves, or they don't know their true purpose. I honestly think it's so important.
There's a mix of things. I don't want to fucking diagnose or override the diagnosis for someone, but you can definitely talk about like not having a sense of worth, a sense of direction will not help.
No, I know. Right. That's it. And don't get me wrong, you're right, there's loads of people that could take that wrong and be like, what do you mean depression can, like, and I know it can be caused with like deep things that have happened in people's past and life and trauma and all that, but I think it does help to have to know why you're here and have like to work towards something that makes you, or do things that make you feel good. Like I feel like we can, like life's so busy. Like at one point I was neglecting all the things that made me feel good, and it got to a point I was like, I need to get back into that routine again where I'm maybe dropping into the dance studio and having a wee jam. Like I don't need to be teaching again. Like I could just be doing it because I enjoy it and it makes me feel good, because I stopped dancing for years to design. I was like, felt so out of touch, you know.
I kind of want to learn about you a little bit as well. So you did so you started as a dancer.
Yeah.
And you did that.
I used to play semi-pro football when I was younger.
Oh well, okay. When you gonna reveal that?
I was a proper.
See, that's the problem. I tried to do my research, and the only thing that came up was the website. And I was like, God damn it.
I don't put a lot on my football. I don't know. I think I might have a video of me doing keepy ups or something like that.
Nice.
But
how long did you do that for?
I played football when I was about 6 years old, right up until I was about 18.
Okay, that's some
I'm a late dancer.
Football.
I joined dancing when I was 21. So that's why I know the power of people. Like I don't think we know our full true potential. Like I feel, I don't know, I think my culture, like I always feel when people are scared to like big themselves up, like say you come off stage and you had a great show, I could have done better, or I used to be like that. Like I used to be it's like the fear of making a mistake or something. You'd be like, oh, I could have done better there, I made a wee mistake. And I don't know, I think we always focus on the negatives at times.
I think I know where that's coming from. I think there's a fear in my culture also of getting big-headed.
That's it, you come across cocky.
But there's a difference between saying I did really well there versus I'm the shit. Yeah. And I think it's a fascinating sort of I don't know, like mistake that people make with this, like this switch where they go, what I did was cool versus I am permanently cool.
Yeah, you can get arrogance, and you can get people that are grateful and like, oh, I done a great show there, and then you can get people like, it could be an arrogance. Like, I hate it. I think it's a dead like, oh, I'm like,
just because I did something really cool yesterday, but there's no guarantee I'm going to do something really cool tomorrow.
Yeah, but you should celebrate your success. I think we always focus on the negatives, and I think it's quite sad at times. And it's
and I mean, you see it with people. I'm never going to be happy, and you're like, well, you are choosing. You think that's the best for you, and fair enough.
Words
but you
are
are
so powerful. So if you put yourself down before you've even done anything, it's like you've already set yourself up to fail, because your words are so important. What you say to yourself is where your energy goes. Like that's what I truly believe in. So when I was growing up, I was really good at football. I played with Arsenal ladies, and I get scouted to go down south when I was very young. And I was quite shy when I was about 13. I was really young, and I was a bit like going down to England, and I was like and I still stay with my mum, so I was like nah. But I was really good at football. I mean, I've got 3 brothers, so I've been
no choice.
No choice. And I'm very competitive. Like, I'm good at pool as well, like, see, and the computer games and all that, and we're very, as a family, like, I love beating them. Like, I hate getting beat at it. And me and my brother John, like, I remember me and my brother John went to play pool. I invited my friend along with me, and she was like, I'm never going to pool with yous again. And I was like, how? She's like, it's just really intense. And it wasn't like we were playing for a trophy or it, and it was just like, I was like, I'm beating him. Like, I fucking hate getting beat. And like, he's the same as well. He doesn't like getting beat off a girl as well. So it was like, the two were like pure proper in the zone. My pal was like, this is fucking nuts. I'm never coming out. But I gave football up because I had a bad injury. Someone had... and then I ended up drinking cider and all that. Like, I hit this stage of like 16 and started to fall away from it a wee bit. Like, started to try drugs and, smoking cannabis and all of that kind of stuff. Like, just what happens when you're younger. You'll try things, you'll kind of dabbled in and out, and then I ended up a chef. Was one of my jobs. I've done quite a lot of things. I ended up, I was doing football, and then I studied sports coaching at college, and I came away from my football. I had a bad injury, and then my house went on fire.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my next door neighbour had... it's a shame, he had mental health issues and stuff like that, and set a fire in my garden shed, and it was gale force winds, and it blew through to our house when we were all sleeping. So it was a big thing. So I lost all my college work, which I had something like 6 months to get back on track again. And I was quite lazy-minded when I was that age. I was like, oh, fuck that, I'm not doing all of that work again, no way. So I just left, and I was like, what can I do? Oh, I quite like cooking, I'll go and be a chef. I'd done that for years, and then I wanted to get back into fitness again, and then I think I was about 21 at the time, and I watched Step Up, and I was like, oh shit, that's so good, I'd love to dance like that. And then I found a local dance class, which we were talking about Rudy in. That's when I met Rudy at the class round at my bit. We were from the same area at the time. And I went to breakdancing. I absolutely loved it. Like, it made me feel so good. I was a late starter, but I managed to pick it up really well. And I remember auditioning to loads of colleges, because I was like, I really want to take this serious. I want to teach this.
I mean, you're already a fairly physical person doing football.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not a writing person. I'm more academic. Like, I love sport. I can't sit in classes and write and all that. I hate doing that. And it was part of my college, but I'm more of somebody shows me something like that's active, I'll pick it up like that. But see, all paperwork and writing, I'm like, But it was really good for me to go there. But I auditioned for so many colleges, and I get so many knockbacks, like, loads of closed doors, and I was like, fuck's sake. And then I was showing up to a college, and they were like, where's your tights and leotards? And I was like, what the hell's that? Because I was in like baggy joggies and hoodies and all that, and I was showing up.
You came from the hip hop scene?
Yeah, and people were all like floating around in like tights, and I was like, oh,
ballet stuff?
Aye, ballet stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't have that. So I went away and got myself some stuff, and I felt like I couldn't breathe in it. I was like, what the fuck? And then I had it on back to front as well. Like, I
think that might have something to do with the not breathing. Yeah. To be fair.
And it was, and then I went to this last college, and I thought, I thought to myself, I'm not giving up until, and that's the way I've always been. I don't give up until I do it.
Can I ask you something? I'm just curious. See the ballet stuff.
Yeah.
Was that something that you didn't enjoy, or was that something that you couldn't identify with because, like, oh, that's not... Like, I come from a working class background, single dad and all that, and sometimes you'd get this feeling of a bit of a chip on your shoulder, like this hoity-toity people. So it's almost like you're proud of being real and not being this...
Yeah, I like...
Do you think there a mix of that?
There was a mix of that, and there was also a mix of... I hate wearing anything tight. I'm so used to baggy clothes, so there was a point in me that I felt like, oh, my body's quite revealed here, like, because it all sticks into all your lady bits, and I'm not like, I don't mind tight trousers, anything on the top half. I've always wore t-shirts away down to my legs, like, I've been in baggy, and there was a part of me that was like, wanting to be a bit different, like, why should I need to wear that to showcase my talent? Do you know what I mean? Like, there was elements of that.
So it might be a mix, a mix of things.
There was, but I remember that college let me in, and I remember the feeling, and I was just thinking, do you know what? Like, in that moment, I was thinking, you should never give up on, like, see a closed door, it's just not meant to be. There's other ones that open.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had to learn.
It's a harsh one to take though, when people are like, nah, you're getting the letters through, you're not getting anywhere. It's like, it drops your vibe a wee bit. You're like,
but once you kind of realise that we are literally living in an infinite universe.
It's exactly, yeah.
So I'm not saying, oh, everything's infinite, because no, it's not everything is infinite. Some things are very finite, but
it's, you know, like let's take a step back at times.
Sorry?
It feels like an illusion at times.
Yeah, but like, take a step back, and just because, like, don't be like, oh, this is my one chance.
Yeah, it's not. No.
It's definitely not your one chance to be happy.
You learn from the closed doors. Like, I remember all the doors were being shut, and then wasn't it the third college, I think, that they were like, no, and I was like, why though? I think that was the first time I questioned it. Why you weren't wearing the right stuff, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, cool, now that I know that, I might get some, I might be a wee bit more prepared.
Did you already have the tattoos?
Not as many.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see a ballet dancer who's tattooed
with tattoos. I know, I don't know if they're allowed to do it. I did do ballet at college. It was part of your curriculum, but I was just like a baby elephant fudding about the place, like, and I felt so like weird with it, the clothes, like, and it's weird how clothes can make you feel. So now that I'm designing clothes, I'm like, when I was in ballet stuff, it made me feel so uncomfortable, I didn't like it. But when I was designing clothes, I was like, I want my brand to be a bit unisex. Yeah, I've done men and women's fits for like certain t-shirts and stuff. I want to have a bit of variety, but most of my stuff is unisex, and it's a wee bit baggier. So like, guys can wear it, and a girl could wear it. They could get a smaller size if they want it fitted, but...
Or they can steal the boyfriends.
Yeah, well, that's it.
The classic.
Boyfriend today. But no, it's been an incredible journey, and because it gets sparked through meditation, it's always good to tell a story like that, because I think there's a lot of people that are a bit lost now and might not know how to...
So I'm just curious, so you're doing all the dancing stuff, and then you go, right, okay, this is... it's not for me, or... I was...
so I do something else as well. At the time, I was trading currency, trading the stock market.
Check you out. You got the whole shebang.
I studied that. I was in a network marketing company, and it was all about success. Mind we were talking about that, all about the...
You were on that grindset, were you?
I was on the grindset, It was like, you must make, like, and it was really cringy when I look back.
They're very, so that's one of my major problems with the whole grindset, is they're very result orientated.
Yeah, and they send out wrong information, because it was actually a point they were like, sleeping's cheating, like you should be up, like grind. But there was a lot of people that were really like sleeping and rest is so important. It's like
you got to respect your sleep.
Yeah, you do. And I remember that was quite, for me it was quite false. And I remember one of my mentors, like you get mentors and all that in the company, he was such a lovely guy, Ahmed, and he had teams all about his network marketing. Beautiful guy, but see, during COVID I actually like received bad news that he'd passed away.
Oh no.
Heart attack. And I was thinking, that guy never slept. I always remember he was always, because all these teams were in like the net, it was all different time zones, and he was on the grind set all the time for his family, which is amazing. But I found out he'd passed over like the age of 34 with a heart attack, and I was thinking, that's probably like you're working yourself too much into like an early grave, perhaps, maybe, or it could be underlying health issues. But there was a part of me that was like, see the grind set stuff, I remember staying up and thinking that if I went to sleep I'd feel guilty and all that, and I'm like, nah.
No, that is definitely, it goes too far. It goes too far, because it's like you have multiple needs.
Yeah.
And just doing the one thing is not. Unless, if you're one person that you only need to do one thing in your life, cool.
Yeah,
most of us need other stuff as well. Okay.
No, you're
You
right.
gotta need your food, your sleep, some of your friends.
Exactly, you need it's a balance, and my dad kept saying that to me at the time. He was like, Jenna, you need balance in your life. Like, you're doing too much of one thing, you're just going to crash and burn. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's balance, because this is a Jeff Bezos quote, so like the ultimate fucking capitalist. But I mean, he won capitalism. Well done him. But he talked about something. He called it harmony instead of balance, because you might not need 50-50.
No, you're right.
But you might need that 10% of that thing.
No, you're right. Harmony, like coming, mixing everything in nicely.
And figuring out your own recipe of like what.
And I went off the word motivation. Kind of went off that word, because I was like, I'm more into like discipline. I think discipline's a good thing. Consistency. Yeah. There you go, good words.
Like doing I agree. Like it's the trick has been figuring out when something's hard to do. Is it hard to do because, well, I don't know. Just today it's tough and I'm getting demotivated because I'm not going as fast as I think I should be going.
I know.
Or do I actually need a break? And the thing is, sometimes those are very similar, and telling the difference can be.
Right. And sometimes I've noticed, right, I could be 100 miles an hour. I'm a lot better now, but doing all my stuff. And then when I take a rest, like say I just get a weekend, I'm like, I'm just taking a rest. And I do that now. See, when my rest is all restored, it like catapults me way forward again. I'm like, and so I'm learning to do that now. I'm learning to like totally rest and wind down a lot. I do like a wee night out and a wee couple of drinks as well.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I don't do it every weekend because it's not good for my mindset. Like, I don't like being hungover, so I wake up and I'm like, I can't be arsed going on my computer and I need to get back to people, and I have the fear and all that. I don't like feeling like that, so I don't do it too often. But I will go to people's parties and stuff. But whereas before, when I was doing the trading stuff, it was like, no parties, no this, no that. Focus. Blah.
Interesting, because normally the trading people are known for something else.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's very much blackjack, hookers and cocaine.
Yeah, no, I know you were going to say that. There's a guy I follow, he's from London, and he's always like, into all of that kind of stuff, like up 24/7, trading at the weekends, like Bitcoin. He's in nightclubs like with big bottles of champagne and all that. I'm like, I studied it and I made good money, and I also lost money, a lot of money. And do you know what? I'm glad it happened to me, because when I was making good money, I was starting to get a wee bit ahead of myself, and I was a bit like, I'll get a Lambo and I'll get this and and that's not
I'm
me.
sorry, the reason I'm getting the hat tilt is like, the Lambo? That's what you need?
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, see now, my priorities and the things that mean things to me I'm so much more mature. Like, it's like, now to me success would look like your financial freedom and potentially like retiring your friends and family. To me, that's success, and driving down the street in a Lamborghini. Like,
I do not like it's flashy, it's beautiful. Will I live my entire life without ever touching one? Probably. I won't fucking phase me.
No, you're right, and I'm like that now. Like, as long as if I can just travel. Like that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I love a bit of travel, but I'm like, I've been learning. There was one mantra that I realized that was kind of making me suffer a lot more than it was helping me, which was, if you're gonna do something, do it properly.
Yeah.
Which I've been trying to understand what that meant, because growing up, I'm single dad, you know, a lot of things to do around the house, a lot of responsibilities, even for a kid, you know. So it was like there's a chore list and things like that. Do this, do that, and then
You've been quite independent at a young age.
Oh yeah,
a bit quick as well.
But it was also like, you know, you do a chore and you didn't clean it fully, you know. And my dad would be like, if you're gonna do it properly. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put something down, you put it down in a way that's, you know, next person that picks it up, it's done, it's finished, whatever. But then I had to learn that you can't do everything like that. You can't be. Some things you will do just for fun.
Yeah.
And you'll just
you
fuck about with
up.
it. Yeah, there was multiple problems with it. Like the way I sort of internalized it to myself, because he didn't mean it that way. I'm aware of that.
Right, but it's been kind of in your subconscious probably, and like growing, and then you hear it when you get older, and you're.
And also and also I think in the environment of like my dad being the only adult in the house from the age of 8, you kind of really want his approval. Yeah. Because you don't have it figured out how to.
And then you're thinking, when I do this, I need to make sure like that's to that standard and not your own. It's like, oh, is this okay? Like,
yeah. So you're like not fully aware of like you can be okay with yourself without other people's approval and stuff.
100%.
So it was very much like chasing that. Is that okay? Are we cool?
Yeah.
So just taking a step back and being like, some things you can do mediocre.
Yeah. No, you're so right.
As long as you know, listen, I'm just doing this for fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there was a part as well when I was shutting down my clothing lines, like, so this is my 3rd one. And it's like, there was a part of me that was like, I'm not scared to fail, but there was a part of me that was a bit like, I'm shutting this down, will people take me serious? And then you go into that whole psyche of thinking about thinking for other people and thinking what other people think of you doing that.
Yeah, you start making somebody talked about this, how like our ego, that part of our brain that's like very terrified but it's trying to protect us, tends to overestimate the negative and underestimate our ability to deal with it. Yeah. So not only will other people hate me, but I will never survive that. Like, nah.
Yeah, it's mental, innit?
Look around, there's people
that's what my slogan is for my clothing line. So it's feed your soul, not your ego. Yeah. And I like that because the ego is I learned a lot in meditation about
the ego. Go on. No, I'm curious. I'm someone who's a bit of an ego expert himself.
It was just, it's learning to welcome it in rather than shut it out.
What do you define as your ego?
When you rationalise things, like overthinking. And me personally, like when I came out of my relationship, it was like, could I have done things better, and rationalising everything, whereas deep down you should go with your intuition and not up here. Like you should always follow your
So when
gut.
you say ego, like what part is it? A part of your brain, or is it a part of
like
what is it a part of?
Yeah,
what is
I would say it's like a part of your thinking, big part of your thinking, like how you think. I think it's like more of your dark side as well. I think your ego can also be a good thing as well. You can actually welcome it in. And when I was meditating, it was like shutting out your brain. It's like being in control of your thoughts. Like when you've got like negative thoughts passing through, it's like overriding them. Like I feel like that can be your ego, like creeping up sometimes. I don't know, I always think it's quite a negative thing, but it can also be a positive thing as well.
Because I've kind of looked at it as, I think, for me anyway, that's how I understand it. For me, the ego is the underlying need to feel valuable or to feel proud of yourself, just to feel like, I'm worth something.
Like good positive self-talk. I don't think that comes from
not even the self-talk, just that feeling of like
contentment.
We cool. You know. And I think like people, like you have weird relationships, you can tie it to things and you can make it
100%.
conditional and be like, I'm only worth something if I achieve this and this.
Yeah.
Or other people not worth that because they haven't done that.
It's actually quite good. I'm going to actually delve really deep into it at some point. I'm not a very good reader, but I like audibles. But I feel like it kind of stands for like edging God out. I feel like when the ego's creeping in, it's not a very godly feeling or thought.
I think it's a fundamental hunger that humans have psychologically of
and I think that's where fear comes from as well, like, because fear's an illusion and stuff like that as well. It's like you can build in fears, like I think like the negative self-talk, if you get me. I think that's it.
That's interesting. I agree with you to an extent. I'm using that again. Partially, I agree with you in that, like, the fear is based on a projection of the future.
Yeah.
So
if you're living in the past or the future, you're not in the present moment.
But it's because you're afraid of losing something that's very important to you.
Yeah.
So then the question becomes, what is that thing that you're afraid of losing?
Yeah. So what is your thing that you're afraid of losing?
I mean, there used to be the esteem of others. Yeah.
It's a good question, actually.
And then in the long term, because I was aware, like, early on, this is a lot of therapy that I had to do on this.
Wow.
But I was aware, like, I had this thought of being fully accepted.
Yeah. Does that come from that pleasing thing again, do you think?
No, I think that what that fed in, it was a habit that kind of that fed into it, but then after a while it wasn't enough. So the crowd to please became bigger, and the conditions and the achievements became bigger and bigger and bigger, because it was never enough. It was never, I was like, I've pleased enough people, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get that feeling of like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. And where would you say you are now in life? Do you think you've overcome that, or is it still work in progress? Or
it's very much a work in progress, but I'm on that. I'm like, I'm happy. I'm learning to be proud of myself, just because feeling proud of myself feels good.
Yeah.
Like, not because I've done this. Like, I'm learning to be like, you don't have to fucking justify it.
No, you're right. That is so true.
And it's a mindfuck, because that's all you know growing up, and it's a very important part of you. It's like, I'm supposed to let this go, this thing.
Yeah.
Especially because it works. It works a bit. Like, you get regular good feeling, but you get the buzz of like, yeah, I did something. Yeah, cool.
No, I know.
But then in the long run, you're like, but it's not enough. I need more.
I know, it's such a... I think everybody's get that. Like, I'm the same as well. It's like... And you know, there was one time, I think it was Facebook memories, when it pops up every... And it can be pictures with you and your ex, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. But it's like... I get all these memories, and I'm like...
Traumatized by Facebook memories.
Like, whoa. Meditating again, like, oh no. But...
Get your fucking 14-year-old post of like, fuck the world. You're like, okay, maybe. That was a bit much.
That wasn't me. But I got this like memory that popped up from my old clothing line, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, because that would have been in 2019, so that was my very first one. And I looked at all the designs and stuff like that, and then I'd done this post where I put them all down and dropped them down with like some collages of me on them, like with my designs, to where I am now. And I was like, oh my god, that's such a lot of growth, like so much growth there. And see, if you don't spend time, which is so important, reflecting on like your life or like your year or even your month, you would... That's when you're always chasing the next best. You're not actually taking recognition for how far you've come. You're not recognising your strength that you've built, like the goals that you've already achieved, because you're constantly wanting that next best thing. So I always stop and reflect now, and I do that like quite regular actually. I like to do a lot of like self-reflection. Yeah. Even if I encounter maybe arguments with people, or like, you know, you might bump heads with folk, or I always do reflection on that as well, like what can I see in that, what triggered me there to act like that, or
that's fair,
like self-awareness.
I think self-reflection is is a great
It's
thing.
key,
It can be
I think.
overdone as well. It's like it's everything. You have to find that sweet, or have to try to find that sweet spot, and then you'll get it wrong and you'll get it right. But hopefully, over time, you get it more right than wrong.
No, I know.
But yeah.
But if you reflect more on like your first comedy show or your middle or your kind of where you are now, you'd be like, holy shit, I've come such a long way in it.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things for me has been every single step that I take is forever part of history. And there's this quote from Gladiators that what we do today will echo throughout history. So not only is it part of the fabric of reality, but it has set in motion a chain of events for the rest of the time.
And you're leaving like a legacy, you know?
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I'm a walking, talking legacy, thank you very much. You know? So now I'm just like, let me just enjoy the day to day.
You want a statue of you somewhere?
No, in not that sense, but it's like everything I do is part of my legacy. Why do I have to achieve the big thing?
No, you're right. And people's...
It's nice if you do, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, don't achieve anything ever.
I think people, like, this is the thing with social media as well, I think people will look and go, oh, they're driving like a Merc or whatever, or like a top of the range car or whatever, and people are chasing all these makes, like all of this stuff, and it's just stuff. I think, to me, success is like when you can set yourself free forever, and you can wake up when you want, go to sleep when you want, make money when you're sleeping, or get up or do something, like put something back into society, or you know, like, and not like when you're working for yourself. And there is people out there that like stuff, and that is fine, but I think success looks like your Louis Vuitton bags and blah blah, and that's not quite true, because a lot of people can like fake it till they make it as well, you know.
I'm
behind the scenes, I know some people, and I'm like, but on Instagram you'd be like, holy shit, like,
you rent a set and take a couple of pictures, and they're like, look at me, I'm on a jet, and you're like, okay, buddy.
I know, it's like
or the models that all fly out to Dubai.
I know, that's what me and my brother were talking about that. I was like, how's your dating going? And he's like, how are you meant to compete with like guys in Dubai that are flying folk out into their boats and all that? And I'm like, as if you're crazy world, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got OnlyFans, and you've got all of these ways that people can make money. It was really funny, actually. There was a video on TikTok, and this guy was like, there's no respect for men in the world anymore, like men lay roads and blah blah blah, and then you can get a girl that's naked and whip her like tits out, and she'll make all this money just sitting in the house not moving. And I totally get what he was saying, and guys,
I mean, that's a fair point.
but then somebody wrote in the comments, but it's guys that pay for it, so like if you all stopped doing that, these people wouldn't have
maybe the guys in the road starting to whipping their tits out while they're working. See what happens, you know what I mean? Bring sexy back to the workplace.
I know, that's it.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's where the secret is. You know what I mean?
There's so many ways to make money now online, and we're in the age of internet, and it has ruined a part of the world. But if you're using it to your advantage, like, and you're using it the right ways, and it's not affecting your mental health, like you're not scrolling and going, oh look, they're such and such pregnant, and I'm 30 and I've not met anyone yet, and I should see. If you're doing that, social media is bad. Yeah. You know,
I mean, it's that social media is a mindfuck.
But if you're using it for expression, to connect with other artists,
or to learn,
sharing learning from other people that you want to fill your feed with.
But it can be interesting. Like, it's hard not to get lost in that. Oh, they're doing better than me. Yeah. But at the same time, you're like,
so much competition as well, innit? Like, but I don't see that now. I actually think there's so much in the world for everybody. Like, why do we need to be in competition?
Yeah.
I'm actually soon going to make videos about how someone can start a brand with no experience, and I'm going to give them pretty much the stuff that I've done. Like, I think how I've done it.
Something interesting. I recently had like a little paradigm shift where I was like, oh, okay. Where I used to think, competition, but I'm like, well, even competition's technically collaboration. Because the other person went and solved the problem that I didn't have the time to do. Yeah. So I can learn from their lessons. Yeah. Right. And also, it's not like, oh my God, like, it's not the end of the world if you didn't become the CEO of the top fucking company. But if you're already in the group and your friend's the CEO, or you know the guy who's the CEO, you're already in.
Yeah, no.
Like, why do you have to be the thing?
I know that.
If you're the thing, enjoy it. Try your best. And if you became the thing, well done you. But if you didn't, you're still in the fucking neighborhood.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
And it's almost like if you take a step back and look at others succeeding as more opportunities for you, because guess what? They will need help also.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everybody learns from everybody, you know, like...
Yeah.
You're forever learning as a creative, I think. And then when you do see someone's work that you're like, I don't see it as competition. Like, I've seen... There was this guy that was making his own jeans with this wee machine, and he was making it all like 3D print, and we're entering a similar competition, and I was thinking, I don't see that as... Like, we're in competition with each other, but I found it dead inspiring. Like, other people's work, I get inspired by it.
But even realistically, like, how much in competition are you? Because do you have the same taste? No.
No, I don't. No, I know.
You gotta have overlaps. There's gotta be people if, like, if they look at your work and his work.
There's a lot of digital printers like me as well out there, digital creators, and I'm like, oh, that's quite cool. Like, I don't find that like, fuck, I better watch in case, you know, like they get in top or they. Nah, I just think. Do you know what? I think authenticity goes a long way. That's why I want to do everything on my own. Like, I'm modelling on my own. Like, I do have other people help me out, but I model my own clothes. Like, I've got tattoos, dreadlocks. I'm the most wackiest person probably. Like, so why not just wear them? And then I do get like some of my friends to wear stuff, but I market myself. I make my own videos because I know if somebody else was to do that for me, it would steal my authenticity. It would take away a part of me, like I
guess.
Yeah, like
also don't put
when
too
you're
much.
Creative, like, but too much is you're right. And it's nice to have other opinions.
You also have to learn sometimes to be like, hey, go do that.
I know it could be a controlling thing. Like, ooh, I need to know what's going on. What are you making there?
Sometimes you have to delegate.
Aye, no, you're right. So I was doing my own marketing, but I know. My auntie was like, Jenna, you should maybe at some point let someone do your marketing for you, like, and it takes a lot of pressure away from you, and then you can just focus on other stuff. And I was like, no, you're right. Do you know my dream would be to just design in the background and not be the face of anything? Just like design, like sit somewhere and just and put it out and have like a bigger platform take over and do all that shit, and I could just sit in the back and design. That would be ideal. But
there you go. I mean, that's
having your own clothing line, you need to be person based. Like I need to speak to people. I need to like.
You could potentially build it at some point if you find someone who's, you know, you feel like they got the right vision. They kind of you're similar in thoughts, and they can be like, okay, you run it. I'll be the creative side, you be the business side.
that would suit me so much. Yeah, definitely moving forward. And I think like this is so new. I only launched like Malachi Creed Wear in May this year. And you've
been doing very well.
I've sold in Estonia, Brazil, America.
Right, let's talk numbers. Let's bring out the capitalist. So what have you been selling, eh? Let's drag it down this bitch. Let's go.
You mean items?
Yeah, okay. Like so what numbers are we looking at?
I've probably, since May to the month that we're in the now, I've sold over 500 pieces of clothing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going good.
Hang on, so from May, we're in December, in November, sorry.
In November.
So that's 6 months, half a year?
Yeah, which is really good. Like,
which is just below 100 a month?
Yeah.
That's a decent number, actually.
Decent, yeah. And then a lot of people are like, could you do this full time? And I'm like, probably one day, but it's not sustainable because it comes in at all different times, like different sales. And some people will buy like maybe just a top, and then like, or some people will buy a few hoodies, or it's all different. It fluctuates, so you need to wait until it's really big and out there, or consistent as well, like really consistent in numbers.
And see, with clothing, like obviously, first and foremost, you want to be true to yourself and express yourself.
Yeah.
But do you find like, okay, I have to like, what do I say to this community? What can I say to this community? Or what can I say to that community?
Do you mean like
do you, like clothing wise, do you go, okay, there's a target audience, is there something I want to express towards them?
Yeah,
and I create the clothing with
Yeah, so
them in mind.
No, definitely. I get inspired with loads of things. So I was on TikTok like not that long ago, and I was seeing all the war that's going on there now. Like, I don't tend to watch stuff like that too much, but then I'm like, how can you ignore it, you know? And there was this really sad video, and I don't know what's going on in the world. I'm not really clued up in politics. I just know that our governments are so greedy, and I just know the world's ran with absolute nut jobs, and I don't think it's a people's place. I don't think we're born on earth to like for people to be suffering the way they are, and like people still living in poverty and that, like so I seen these videos of these kids that are part of the war there now, and I went and made a jacket about it, and it says peace not war, and it's like a scarf, and it's like a hollow face, and it's really artistic, like, and I don't know, and do you know what the good thing with art is? People could look at that and not know how to interpret it. They'll interpret it on their own wee individual way, but it says peace not war, and there's like jet planes flying, and then there's like doves flying beside them, and then there's like, it's actually pretty cool, and then there's like a hand and it's chucking a grenade, but there's like flowers coming out the grenade, and it's like a big mixture of like art all together, and that's a big piece on it, peace not war. And I was like, so I got inspired to do that design just with seeing a couple of videos on my feed, and I was like, I need to send a message out about that, like, I wouldn't really call it awareness as such, but because everybody's aware of it, everybody's got social media, I would say it's just nice to send some support or a positive message in a sense. But all my designs all get deep meanings. Like, I think people are like that to me. When my pal was like, you're deep as fuck, like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, I'll make designs and they're really deep, and I'll need to go back and go. And then there was a quote I seen, and it said, forgiveness sets the prisoner free, realising you were the prisoner. And I was like, oh, because if you don't learn to forgive people, and don't get me wrong, you might not be able to...
some grudges I'm taking to the grave.
You might not be able to forgive people right away, and it might come in time, but see, if you really hold on to shit, it can make you very bitter, and it can really bring you down. I think forgiving and releasing it's a hard thing to do if people have wronged you, don't get me wrong.
I'm trying to figure out, because I grew up hardcore religious. It was all forgive and forget, but I'm like, okay, what do you mean by forgive? Because I'm not going to act like the person didn't do the thing they did. I'm not going to go back to them like, hey, we're not friends.
No, okay? Once they've wronged you, you're right, that's it.
But I'll also be like, it's more like, okay, this, like, it takes a while to be like, this has happened, my life is not over. There's so many other people that I can be friends with. There's so many other things I can enjoy in life.
There's billions of people in the world.
So, thanks for the lesson, I guess. I mean, thanks, no thanks, you know. But I'll go my merry way, and you go that way, and we're good.
No, you're right. There was times in my life I could be like that, but it depends what kind of type of heart. And then there's also times I've kind of held on to it a bit and been like, oh, they totally... But I feel like that might have been a part of my ego, because when I was younger, growing up, I never used to take any shit. Like, someone starts with me, I'm like, fucking one outside, we'll just sort it out there. Like, but I'm not like that now, obviously. But I used to like fighting, so I would not think twice about fighting with people. I wouldn't go out my way to do it. If somebody really came to me, and it was more like when I was growing up, because I'm like 36 now, but there was like gangs and stuff like that, and your reputation was on the streets, not in social media, like being like a wee spice boy or anything like that. It was like proper gang fighting, like. So we never had social media. Our first phone was like when I was 16. So, I mean, the kids now, it's all different, like. But growing up, it was hardcore, and I've been in a right good few fights. Not proud of it. I've done a lot crazy things when I was younger.
You did your time.
Yes, and pretty much, I think, I don't know, now I can forget, I can look at the bigger picture now and be like, maybe that person was just in a bad place, or I feel sorry for them that they don't have that self-awareness.
Sometimes a cunt's a cunt.
Definitely, aye. But I don't need to fight anymore.
But you can still take a step back and be like, okay, that's who you are.
Yeah. And separate yourself
I'm gonna lick my wounds and slowly put myself together, and you know.
Yeah.
But it's also thinking of like it doesn't happen overnight. Like we had this chat with a friend of mine recently. It's like turning a ship. Like it takes a while to fucking turn.
No, you're right, and it can be like, oh, and that energy hangs over you.
And it comes back in waves, and you realise, oh, there's something else you fucked up for me, and there's another thing I can't have because of you, and another.
But my designs are there's loads on my site, and they're just really deep, and some of them get inspired by, as you say, like certain things that I might just see in social, or like now I've launched bomber jackets, and they look pretty cool. I had a wee browse. That's inspired me because it was just loads of beautiful paintings and buildings. So I've been going out recently, like with my drone, and going to like old church, and I pure love architecture, like see old creepy buildings and that glass and all that. I just think it's so amazing. I'm like, and then don't make buildings like that anymore, so they're like vintage really, aren't it? Right, but I always go around all these buildings, and I'm like, and like ruined like castles, and they've got chunks taken out of them and stuff, but they're just beautiful buildings, and I'm like, maybe if I just done a collage of like loads of different art, like pictures of things, and just whacked it on a jacket, and it looked class. And so my original idea was, I used to have college jackets that had buttons on them, right, but they were very thin material, and I was always on the fence with them. But the prints are stunning, all over prints of beautiful jackets, but very light for me. I don't know, a jacket, if you can't even feel it on you, it's so light. So I ordered the premium bomber jacket with that. Oh, bless you.
Jeez. Hoping that didn't all of it go in the mic.
But I ordered the bombers with that idea, the collage, and I was like, and I've done a Glasgow kind of Scottish one as well, and it's got like a Highland cow, and the Duke of Wellington is that like with the cone, and I've got like all of that on a jacket with like tartan sleeves, and it looks pretty cool. So I've done like, that was my plan, just to have bomber jackets with that. But then when the bomber jacket came, I was like, such a nice jacket, so I shut all my college jackets down and transferred all the designs over. But I made a video, I think, like, being transparent with people is really good. Like, when you've got your business, I didn't want to just shut it down, and the people that follow and buy from me go, oh, where did the jackets go? Like, I always make sure I upload, like, this is why I done that, or give people an email or something like that. But moving forward, it's just you learn something new every day, like you really do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's the dream for Malachi Creed Wear? What's the ambition? World domination?
I would really love to hit America so strong. Like, I have sold in different parts in America, but I'd love to hit America so strong. And probably London would be pretty cool. I've sold a few like items down there. I just want to be I want to be there with the fashion brands, but I don't want to be like a luxury brand in terms like somebody can't afford to buy something. I don't want to be that type of brand. I want to be very fair in my pricing. It's not even about that. I just want to send like positive vibes out, like, to people. I want people to feel good. I want to send messages out around the world when people are walking down the street. You know, like, it inspires people, like it motivates, it helps people, you know, like, be better humans in a sense. I've made a jacket as well. It was about like lightness and darkness, and it's pretty much been based around my spiritual awakening, my designs, and then other stuff just came. Like, I made Rap God t-shirts when I went to, I think yous were playing, no, was it? So there was the Only Fools and Hip Hop.
Only Fools and Hip Hop, yeah. I wasn't actually, my friend was in it.
Yeah. And then when I seen, I think my friend gave, I can't remember, but there was this rapper guy that had one of my t-shirts, Pitch Scotland. I didn't know all of these events happen in Glasgow, so it's pretty cool to see like other folk doing other stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to start going to other people's events as well and going to support. So I done like a Rap Gods kind of t-shirt scheme thing, and I was like Biggie and Tupac and all the people that inspire people growing up, Eminem and all that, and they've sold really well. So I'm not just like spiritual and deep, like there is some other wee designs there to break it up. And then my brother was like, you should have a plain section, because he's a pure plain Jane. He's like, with just your logo, like, come on, not everybody will wear it. And it's so true, not everybody will wear my stuff. And
Yeah,
I'm
of
okay
course.
with that. But
Yeah, you have to like you have to figure out what you want to do.
yeah, and I customise for people in the background as well. Like I design for dance crews and design their baseball shirts and stuff like that. And I do a wee bit of kind of personal designing.
Yeah, I think it's like a mix of like do things that are true to you, but like not just the one facet of you.
Yeah.
Like we were having this chat today with a comedian friend of mine about how like for comedy wise, I grew up on like watching George Carlin. It's like, you know, comedy that makes you think and deep comedy, but sometimes you just want something silly, something so stupid but fun, and they just go.
Aye.
Sometimes that's all you want,
Yeah.
and that's okay. You know, not everything has to be a fucking political stance or a deep philosophical analysis of the world and existence.
Yeah. I get you. You just want. It could be the most silliest thing people.
Sometimes a dick joke will do.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, definitely.
So it's like I've had to learn that as well, of like not trying to do everything properly. Like what is, you know, doing comedy properly.
you're
Like
right.
take a step back.
Yeah, that's it. And sometimes what you think is right sometimes isn't as well. You know, like just because I would wear a design doesn't mean you say somebody else. So there was a design on my site that I thought was a bit shit, right? And I was a bit like, no shit, but I was a bit like, maybe I could have done better with that whole negative stuff we were talking about. And that has been a design that has sold quite a bit, and it's a design that I thought would maybe not have sold. And I'm like, it just shows you people can take you by surprise. Like what I think looks amazing might not be amazing. So I need to always, when I go to put a design up and I'm a bit hesitant about it, I'm just going to put it up because I'm like, maybe somebody else might like that and get that, you know, like.
Yeah, as long as like you're not trying to be someone who you're not.
Exactly, that's true. It's like the design's still authentic. Like the right intentions are always behind them all, but there's just sometimes I might put like other colours up that I maybe don't quite like, or there'll be other words through it, and I'm like, nah. But then it will sell, and I'm like, oh, just because I didn't really like it and maybe wouldn't wear it doesn't mean to say nobody else will. Do you know what I mean? So that can be quite hard when you're designing. Like, I need to remember to design for other people, you know?
Well, keep that in mind. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like I'm putting it, and don't get me wrong, just because I wouldn't wear it doesn't mean to say nobody else would. Because I'm like, I can't design everything and wear it all. Do you know that way? I need to cater for other people. Like
It has to be a give and take, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, so when my brother was like, maybe you should have a plain section, I did listen to him, and I designed embroidered hoodies where it's just my logo embroidered into like a nice cotton hoodie. And to be fair, a few of them have sold really well. So I'm like, it just shows you, just because I'm like wacky, whoa, all the colours of fucking crazy shit, like that doesn't make it say everybody likes that. So it's quite nice to have elements.
Yeah, but also as we said, you can't be pleasing everybody either. So it's like finding like how much you're willing to give.
Yeah.
How much you're willing to, okay, you can have that.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. I know, it's like, I've done a lot of like sponsors as well, and I've done a wee bit of collabs, but I'm kind of a wee bit at a stage now where I don't really want to do too many collaborations, if you get me. Like, I don't mind supporting other artists and helping them out and putting myself behind that, but you just don't know who you're working with as well, and it's nice to get to know people, I think, on a because before I would just jump in, and then before you know it, you've collaborated with someone that not a lot of people might like or get or whatever, and then that kind of falls back on you as well.
Yeah, I mean, or sometimes it just, you don't even, like, if you just like, oh yes, that's an opportunity, yes please, and you turn up, you're like, oh,
aye,
that's not
shit.
me.
I've had a lot of people reach out for some collabs, so next year I might open a book for that, but right now I'm enjoying doing it all on my own. It's all my creations, and I'm really grateful for the support and the feedback that I get, and
it seems to be growing and growing.
It's growing and growing, and I like to give out like discount codes, and I like to, but right now my focus, cheeky discount, but it's like and everybody loves a discount in it, but I'm more focused on my TikTok at the moment. I think it's important to grow I don't know about you, how you feel like what platform works for you, but I actually like TikTok. I think it's more genuine and more real than Instagram for me.
It might be. I mean, I'm kind of figuring out TikTok still. I've had some videos that did well, some not.
Yeah. I'm the same as well. Get stuck in the 200 view jail. You're like,
yeah, I did very well on Insta. Now I'm starting to pick up on YouTube. Yeah, so it's like a mix of things, and you try to figure out there's different audiences on different social medias.
100%. I know this is
different types of content.
I'm the same as you. I'm like figuring it all out, but I think it's very hard to grow a following on Instagram now. I don't know. I do get it. I do get the odd one in my clothing page and whatnot, but I feel like my TikTok went a wee bit quicker. Like it was.
I mean, also might be because you're
reaching more people, I think, into it. As soon as you go on the FYP, I don't know how the Instagram algo works. But
also you have to keep in mind that like your fits, especially the colourful ones, will resonate potentially better with some of the younger crowd.
Yeah, definitely, and most of them are on Instagram, TikTok. Well, Instagram's more. It could be middle.
Instagram's our age.
Yeah. Facebook's like older, innit? I like a wee Facebook.
Like my gran was on Facebook before she passed away. Do you know what I mean? So like,
my auntie Betty's on Facebook. She's 87.
When like you see a post of like someone types in a search thing of like, how do I, and they just put it in as a post, and you're like, oh no, gran, that's not where that goes.
But I think it's good to just send out a message to people like, you can literally know nothing about something and create something so amazing. You know, like I had zero experience. I couldn't even send an email. Like you ask some of my friends, I'm shit with computers.
I mean, you had to learn some things. That you can't know nothing at all.
Oh, it was honestly, I'm complete bare minimum. Like, see, when I go on a computer, I used to like wave at the screen and all that. Like, I didn't. I'm very like bare minimum. Like, I knew bits, but like
You knew something. You can know very little.
Know how to turn it on, and I learned how to send emails, and that was about it. I would just turn it off. I would have to get my friend at college to log me into computers and all that and spell check and all that for me and do all of that. Like when I was typing essays, I knew very bare minimum, but like to build your own website and build your own designs and link manufacturers and have it all as systematic, people would find that impossible, and it's not.
No, it takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of
effort.
A lot of YouTube. It's good that you're on YouTube, because YouTube's been my saviour.
How do I set up a global clothing empire? 2 hours.
Well, that's it. I just wrote like, how do you set up a website, and then Shopify popped up, and I was like, Then I researched Shopify, then I downloaded it, and it was literally like really user friendly for me. I was like, if I was to tell you how I done it now, it'd go all the way back again. Fuck knows. I'd be like, but you can build good websites on it, and then getting your domain name, making sure that nobody's got that, and then like kind of copywriting your sell and stuff like that, and then you need to search for print on demand kind of stuff, and then you link it in, and it does it all for you. Like, it's good. It's like, so I don't hold inventory in my house. An order will come through and I'll get pinged about it. Then I'll go on my computer and I'll send, like, it'll come out money, like a wee pot of money, but then it all goes around. So it's like they take their cut for making it and printing it, and they send it to the customer, and then the money like that the customer pays comes back into the wee pot again, and it all just goes round.
So you design it, somebody else makes it, somebody else delivers it.
Yep, that's it. They send it. I don't have, but the only thing that can be a bit shit, if you don't have like inventory in your house, in case somebody's got an event and they're like, oh Jen, I froze some like hoodies and I'll stick them on whatever, and we're going to, and I'm like, oh shit, I'll need to order, and it'll take like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
So it's like learning the fundamentals. It's like you're starting out and you've got that going, and then hopefully one day you'll have your own.
Well, that's it. My own. The dream would be, I've got a 5-year business plan. I've got like clothing accessories that nobody's invented yet. I've had this all
no
planned.
Spoilers. No spoilers.
No.
Okay.
But I've got a proper like 5-year business plan with it.
Okay, well I think I think that's a very good place to. It's like tune in next time.
But you can't
the business
focus.
is.
Well, that's it. No, you're right. You can't focus too much in the future, but you do.
You need to have a direction.
You have to have goals. You need to have direction.
That's like have a direction.
A plan.
Don't be too in love with the direction.
And I remember I get asked the question. Yeah, no, you're right. I get asked this question, and I've never thought about it. And it was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, holy shit, I don't know. I just live day by day. But like career wise, and I was like, that's actually a good point. Like, so it's nice to set realistic, achievable goals with enough time to achieve them. How do you see that? Do you see yourself?
Nah, yeah, 100%. Like again, to me, goals used to be about the result. Now I'm like, well, my goal is to try my best until I don't see the point of trying.
Yep. And still enjoying it.
Yeah, but so now I look at results as like, that's the direction I would like to travel in, and that the goal is to fucking travel.
Yeah.
Do the work.
That's it. It's like, I just want to travel, meet different people.
But like travel, I mean, as in to work in that direction. Like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, I like people could be like, Silas, we want you on in the Netherlands, like at the weekend or something. You could just fly out and go and gig in it and just.
But like I'm not looking at it like in a physical travel. I'm just looking at it like if I pick a goal, I'm not like, oh, in 5 years. Well, I used to be like, in 5 years I need to be here, and now I'm like, okay, that result would be pretty cool to have, right? Okay, so my goal is in the next 5 years, I'm going to try as much as I can to get to that place, or get as close as I can to that place.
Yeah.
Once the 5 years are up, we recalibrate.
Yeah.
Or if I get there before, we recalibrate. Or if something more important comes along in the next 5 years, we recalibrate.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's go. Let's get on the grind.
No, I know the grind. Oh man, circling back at that, I was like, what the fuck? My toes were like curling. That's network marketing for you. And do you know what? I think when I look at, not all network marketing, I know people could take this the wrong way.
Some of it is bullshit.
I would say people were like, coming, and it is true, the platform was teaching trading, but the people that were bringing people in were making out that they were making money trading, and they weren't even trading. So people were buying into this idea of they're my mentor, and then they would ask the people questions that brought them into the business, and they wouldn't know how to answer them, and then 9 times out of 10 people would start leaving going, what the fuck? I thought, and it's not a get rich quick, definitely isn't.
Well, if someone gets rich, it might not be you. I think we've covered quite a lot. We've covered quite a lot.
I think
we got goals set up. Tune in a year. Let's see where Jena is in a year's time.
I know.
Let's see how this global clothing empire is growing.
No, true, definitely. I know. Thanks for having me. It's been amazing.
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, nice one.